What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today we're jumping into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. This time we're heading into the Temple Graveyard with Tundra. Alright, might as well put on the War Chief skin. I think this deck should be somewhat alright for what we have going on here. There's a few places that the Ice Vent can actually work out pretty well in, just not around here. Either way, the Dragon's Lances actually do a pretty good job of picking off some of the enemies as they travel around the wines and things of the map, so they should come in handy as well. So let's go ahead and leave that as is and just jump into it today.
We stand and fight together.
Except I'm alone. Not sure if sad or happy.
I would rather feel my enemy's last breath upon my cheek.
You say that now.
If we must, I suppose it will do its duty.
That trap goes on the wall.
Well placed.
That's really all we'll need for the beginning. But we will want this place closed off.
Opened a minion portal.
And something like this going on.
Steel and magic are a poor substitute for claw and tooth. They've broken through a gate!
Let him get roasted again. So with a smaller barricade, you could actually block this section off here. With the large barricades that I have, not really going to work out too much unless we try to do it here. That limits the amount of things that we can place back here, essentially. We can do that. Actually, move this up about half a space. Or we could do this. That'll just slow everything down though. We actually don't even need the slows here.
The educated soldier rises above.
Really just want the things to take damage and keep moving.
But I suppose I love our enemy less.
So.
An unstable rift is opening. It must be destroyed.
Crude, but I suppose we must stop at
Alright, that unstable rift we should be able to get to by hopping through the center here. There's some stairs here if you were unaware. But because I don't think most characters can jump high enough to get over that ledge, I have to wait for these to sort of do their thing.
We have destroyed the unstable rift.
Yep, you can get out from here, but you can't go in.
Enemies incoming! They've broken through on another front! If we must, I suppose it will do its duty. Freeze and burn! Well placed.
Freeze everything, get all of the damage done. That attack does not have any sort of diminishing damage done if you hit multiple enemies, so it's a good idea if you happen to have a large volume of enemies on you to just go ahead and let it rip with an avalanche. I don't have any BGH traps back there. Where did all of his health disappear from? That's interesting. Big shield weapons.
It's like a game of 9-pin. The boss minion has entered the battlefield. Steel and magic are a poor substitute for claw and tooth. Our barricades are under attack. I do not love these.
Alright, so he's gonna be over here and he's gonna try to wreck my barricade. We don't want him to do that. And there we go. A well-timed freeze can freeze almost all the enemies that are surrounding 2 before and trying to use him to sort of gather your attention as well. So this is pretty nice. With smaller barricades, you can block these areas to make sure that enemies specifically don't walk in them. But since we don't have the ability to do that here, just kind of do it that way. And remember, you can always just do one of those. We're gonna do this.
Feel my enemy's last breath upon my cheek.
And that.
I do not love these, but I suppose I love our enemy less. The rift will be broken. No executioner was ever so busy as I.
Looks like that was the right one. If you do it after you freeze them all with flash freeze, they do take all of the bonus damage and it can get pretty hefty. It's a good way to deal a ton of damage really quick with Tundra. Alright, now we have to plan for these guys.
Well placed, I think. Crude, but I suppose we must stop at nothing. They've broken through a gate! If we must. I suppose it will do its duty.
Gonna grab the extra projectile on the icicle burst just because it's in general really good. For most people, that's gonna wind up being your best choice in a lot of situations. Alright, we don't really have to worry about those barricades getting wrecked or anything. If they do, we're right here. You can also drop another one of these guys as some backup. Those are some really sturdy barricades. Alright, and then up here we pretty much just place an infinite number of ballistas, or at least it'll feel infinite. Ah, that was the right one again. Good stuff.
Steel and magic are a poor substitute for claw and tooth.
Actually, that one probably isn't necessary. We also want to get some BGH ballistas up because bosses will eventually be going through there. And then we'll try to clear out the rear of the horde before they really get too far.
The enemy army is attacking on another front! I do not love these, but I suppose I love our enemy less. They've broken through a gate!
No trespass.
Well placed, I think.
An unstable rift is opening. Destroy it.
I quit my post only when the property has been listed. You will pay for this.
Alright, gonna run through this for a quick second.
An unstable rift is opening. Quick, destroy it.
The extra combat levels make these a lot easier to destroy, so usually that's what happens when they start throwing multiple rifts at you. The only time you really may not have enough DPS to easily handle attacking 2 rifts is if you are in a multiplayer situation because the DPS is split between the 3 people playing, or if you're in Chaos Trials and you have additional unstable rift spawn, you may get an additional rift per round in that case, and sometimes that can make things a bit tricky, especially if you already have 2 rifts spawning, because they can be in some very inopportune locations. Right, to make this a bit simpler, I'm gonna add 2
If we must.
BGH ballistas here, and that's most of our money, so we should be alright. That needs to get sold though. Alright, shattering icicles again, because why not?
Our barricades are under attack! A boss is on its way!
Alright, there's the boss we've been waiting for. It's gonna be Lysander.
The enemy's boss is dead!
Alright, 2 waves to go. We should have time for it.
Our barricades are under attack! I cannot! Our barricades are under attack!
Alright, there we go with them. This is probably going to be the last big wave full of enemies. The next one is going to be kind of staggered. So if you have issues with the part time, I'd recommend just making sure that if your traps can handle the guys that are coming out on the 14th wave in the beginning without much of an issue, just clean up the back of the enemies that are going to be spawning. The first gate, the one in the bottom left, is going to be where the slowest enemies are coming from.
Final wave! Our barricades are under attack! Let know the blades of winter!
And we might as well try to get this finished gold. We're going to be a few seconds behind.
Whether vanquished or victorious, it is important to have fought well.
And the temple graveyard has always had a really tight par. Even with that being relaxed, I think it originally started off about 45 seconds less than what it is now. So people had a really tough time with that originally. I did hit that with Ozio, 1313. Yes, that's a lucky number here. But either way, that's gonna be it for clearing it with Tundra. Ice attacks tend to do a bit less damage, and so you're really gonna have to pick up the slack with your traps, but the traps that I use here deal damage over time, so while they're good at handling groups, they don't really kill fast. I'd probably recommend a mix of flip traps and floor spikes rather than slows and floor scorchers if you want to try to get that done quickly. Also, they would probably wind up costing you a bit less coin, which is ideal as well. But we're next going to be moving into the Highlands, which is a much larger map. That one is going to be a bit tricky. Tundra doesn't have the best movement in the game, but it's not bad. But having to jump between the lanes will always, with slower characters, require the movement of portals, and using those well will be the solution to actually getting through this map. So we'll go ahead and set that up next time. And yeah. Thanks for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a fabulous week so far, and ultimately take care of yourselves. And as always, have a good one, folks.